I came across that video and thought, just another thirst trap video, which I'm not entirely opposed to. But then something tickled my brain about that language. I've noticed you around. I find you very attractive. And then the last line is, would you go to bed with me? And it hit me that that's actually the language used in a classic study on sexual selectivity that was done in Florida State in the early 80s. Here is the paper, Gender Differences in Receptivity to Sexual Offers by Clark and Hatfield, done at Florida State, right there on campus. The audio I didn't recognize, but it's apparently from a song that was released in 1998 called Would You? So here's the guts of the study. They had Confederates walk up to people on the campus of Florida State University and start with that stem, hi, I've noticed you around campus, I think you're attractive, and then they would continue with one of three questions. The Confederates would approach opposite sex students. And here's what they found. Basically, the first question was, would you go on a date with me? It was found that you had about a 50-50 shot of getting a yes answer, whether the recipient of the question, the answerer, whether the answer was male or whether the answer was female. However, when you switched to the second question, which was, would you go back to my room with me? Actually, I don't think that's true. I think they said, would you go back to my apartment with me? Oh, look, it was. Here's a screenshot from the actual study. That second question was actually worded as, would you come over to my apartment tonight? So this article in Psychology Today actually slightly misrepresents what happened in the study. In any case, this graph is useful. Notice that when men were asked, would you go back to my apartment with me, an increased number said yes, almost 70%. Meanwhile, women, when approached and asked that question, almost none of them said yes. And finally, for the third portion of it, when they were asked, would you have sex with me tonight? And finally, when asked, would you have sex with... Wait, did they get this wrong too? They did. The actual language was, would you go to bed with me tonight? 0 women said yes to that third question, and about 75% of men said yes to it, even more than just, would you go on a date? This study sparked a lot of debate, and it's fun to talk about in class. Some argue that it's evidence that how we act sexually is evolutionarily driven. Others point out that social situations and stigma about sexuality or even concerns of safety might be driving this data. I looked up the researchers. Clark was at Florida State until 1989, and he died about 10 years ago. Hatfield, meanwhile, had a great career, went on to become the president of the APS, and even put out a book last year in 2020.